he had never seen the Supreme Lord, simply because Lord Brahma had heard about the Supreme Personality of Godhead from Vedic literature. With a fixed mind, he offered the Lord prayers as written or approved by the Vedic literature. It is said that when Brahma and the other demigods go to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Sweta, they cannot directly see him, but their prayers are heard by the Lord, and the needful action is taken. This we have seen in many instances. The word Shruta Urvaya is significant. We get experience by directly seeing or by hearing. If it is not to see someone directly, we can hear about him from authentic sources. Sometimes people ask whether we can show them God. This is ludicrous. It is not necessary for one to see God before he can accept God. Our sensory perception is always incomplete. Therefore, even if we see God, we may not be able to understand him. When Krishna was on earth, many people saw him, but could not understand that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Avajanantimam buddha manasimtanam asritam. Even though the rascals and fools saw Krishna personally, they could not understand that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even upon seeing God personally, one who is unfortunate cannot understand him. So that's the same thing with Jesus Christ also. Even though he was among people, many people could not understand who he was. Therefore, we have to hear about God, Krishna, from the authentic Vedic literature and from persons who understand the Vedic version properly. Even though Brahma had not seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead before, he was confident that the Lord was there in Sweta. Thus, he took the opportunity to go there to offer prayers to the Lord. These prayers were not ordinary concocted prayers. Prayers must be approved by Vedic literature as indicated in this verse by the words Dai Vibir Gir Bihi. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we do not allow any song that has not been approved or sung by bona fide devotees. We can allow cinema songs to be sung in the temple. We cannot allow cinema songs to be sung in the temple. We generally sing two songs. One is Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta. This is bona fide. It is always mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and it is accepted by the Acharyas. The other, of course, is the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We may also sing the songs of Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Lochana Das Thakur. But these two songs, Shri Krishna Chaitanya and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, are sufficient to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although we cannot see him, seeing the Lord is not as important as approaching him from the authentic literature or the authentic statements of authorized persons. My statements, all my statements. Okay. Text number 26. Lord Brahma said, O Supreme Lord, O changeless, unlimited Supreme Truth, you are the origin of everything. Being all pervading, you are in everyone's heart and also in the atom. You have no material qualities. Indeed, you are inconceivable. The mind cannot catch you by speculation, and words fail to describe you. You are the supreme master of everyone, and therefore you are worshipable for everyone. We offer our respectful obeisances to you. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality Godhead is not anything of material creation. Everything material must change from one form to another. For example, from earth to earthen pot, and from earthen pot to earth again, all our creations are temporary, impermanent. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, is eternal. And similarly, the living entities who are parts of Him are, one second, are also eternal. Mamaya Hamso Jiva Loke, Jiva Buddha Sanatana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Sanatana, eternal, and the individual living entities are also eternal. The difference is that Krishna or God is the supreme eternal, whereas the individual souls are minute, fragmental eternals. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 13.3, Chetra Gyam Chapimam Vidi Sarvachetra Subharata. Although the Lord is a living being and the individual souls are living beings, the Supreme Lord, unlike the individual souls, is Vibhu, all-pervading, and Ananta, unlimited. The Lord is the cause of everything. The living entities are innumerable, but the Lord is one. No one is greater than Him, and no one is equal to Him. Thus, the Lord is the supreme worshipable object, as understood from the Vedic mantras, Natat Samas Chavyadikas Cha Drishyate. The Lord is supreme because no one can evaluate Him by mental speculation or jugglery of words. The Lord can travel more quickly than the mind. In the Shruti mantras of Isha Upanishad, it is said, Anajad ekam anasojavyo nena devam purvam arsat. Tadavato nyam ayeti stistat tasmin apo matar visva dadati. Although fixed in his abode, the personality of God is swifter than the mind and can overcome all others running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him. Although in one place he controls those who supply the air and rain. He surpasses all in excellence. Ishopanishad 4. Thus the Supreme is never to be equaled by the subordinate living entities. Because the Lord is situated in everyone's heart, and the individual living entity is not, never should the individual living entity be equated with the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 15:15, the Lord says, I am situated in everyone's heart. This does not mean, however, that everyone is equal to the Lord. In the Shruti mantras, it is also said, Hridihi ayam atma pratisthita. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Satyam param dhimahi. The Vedic mantras say, Satyam Jnanam Anantam and Nishkalam Nishkriyam Santam Niravadyam. God is supreme, although naturally he does not do anything. He is doing everything. He is doing everything. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham tesha avasanta. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings in me, all beings are in me, but I am not in them. Bhagavad Gita 9.4. My dakshina pakriti srite sacharacharam itananena punteya jagat viparivartate. This material nature working under my direction, O son of Kunti, is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Bhagavad Gita 9:10. Thus, although the Lord is silent in his abode, he is doing everything through his different energies. Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shuyate. Text. All the Vedic mantras or Shruti mantras are included in this verse spoken by Lord Brahma. For Brahma and his followers, the Brahma Sampradaya, understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the Parampara system. We have to gain understanding through the words of our predecessors. There are 12 Mahajans or authorities, of whom Brahma is one. Swayambhur Narada Sambhu, Kumara Kapilo Manu, Pralado Janako Vishma, Valir Vaya Sakir Vayam. Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.20. We belong to the disciplic succession of Brahma, and therefore we are known as the Brahma Sampradaya. As the demigods follow Lord Brahma to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we also have to follow the authorities of the Parampara system to understand the Lord. Very good statement. We don't have to go anywhere else. We simply follow the Brahma Sampradaya. Text 27. The Supreme Personality of Godhead directly and indirectly knows how everything, including the living force, mind, and intelligence, is working under his control. He is the illuminator of everything and has no ignorance. He does not have a material body subject to the reactions of previous activities. And he is free from the ignorance of partiality and materialistic education. I therefore take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, who is eternal, all pervading, and as great as the sky, and who appears with 6 opulences in 3 yugas, Satya, Treta, and Dwapara. Well, that's a pretty good statement. A lot of information there. Purport. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is described in this way. Janmadasya Janmadhyasya yato nivyad itaratas chartesu abhigyasvarat. The Lord is the origin of all emanations, and he directly and indirectly knows everything about all the activities within his creation. Therefore, the Lord is addressed here as Vipashchitam, one who is full of all knowledge or who knows everything. The Lord is the Supreme Soul, and he knows everything about the living entities and their senses. The word anidram, meaning always awake and free from ignorance, is very important in this verse. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Matak Smritir Jnanam Apahanam Cha. It is the Lord who gives intelligence to everyone and who causes everyone to forget. There are millions and millions of living entities, and the Lord gives them directions. Therefore, he has no time to sleep, and he is never in ignorance of our activities. Wow. I like that. There's no time to sleep. The Lord is the witness of everything. He sees what we are doing at every moment. The Lord is not covered by a body resulting from karma. Our bodies are formed as a result of our past deeds. Karmana daiva netrena. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not have a material body, and therefore he has no avidya ignorance. He does not sleep, but is always alert and awake. Supreme Lord is described as Tri Yuga because although he appeared variously in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapara Yuga, when he appeared in Kali Yuga, he never declared himself the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna Varnam Jisa Krishnam Sangapandrastra Parsadam. The Lord appears in Kali Yuga as a devotee. Thus, although he is Krishna, he chants the Hare Krishna mantra like a devotee. Still, Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32 recommends Yajnai Sankirtana Paraya Yajanti Sumeda Sahara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose complexion is not black like that of Krishna, but is golden. Tavissa Krishnam is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is accompanied by associates like Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, and Srivasa. Those who are sufficiently intelligent worship this Supreme Personality of Godhead by performing Sankirtan Yajna. In this incarnation, the Supreme Lord declares himself not to be the Supreme Lord, and therefore he is known as Tri Yuga. Text number 28. Yeah, because Krishna is appearing as a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but actually he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so text 28. In a cycle of material activities, the material body resembles the wheel of a mental chariot. The 10 senses, 5 for working and 5 for gathering knowledge, and the 5 life airs within the body form the 15 spokes of the chariot wheel. The 3 modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are its center of activities. And the 8 ingredients of nature, earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and false ego compromise the rim of the wheel. The external material energy moves this wheel like electrical energy. Thus, the wheel revolves very quickly around its hub or central support. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Super Soul and the ultimate truth, we offer our respectful obeisances unto him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The cycle of repeated birth and death is figuratively described herein. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.5, aparayam itastvanyam pakritim vidime param jiva bhutam mahabaho yaryadam daryate jagat. The entire world is going on because the living entity, who is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is utilizing the material energy. Under the clutches of the material energy, the Jivatma is revolving on the wheel of birth and death. Under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the central point is the Super Soul, as explained in Bhagavad Gita 18.61. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Ritese Regenatistati Ramayan Sarvabhutani Yantra Yudhyani Mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities, who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. The material body of the living entity is a result of the conditioned soul, soul's activities, and because the supporter is the super soul. The super soul is the true reality. Every one of us, therefore, should offer respectful obeisances to this central reality. One should not be misguided by the activities of this material world and forget the central point, the absolute truth. That is the instruction given here by Lord Brahma. Text number 29. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in pure goodness, Suddha Sattva, and therefore he is Eka Varna, the Omkara Pranava, because the Lord is beyond the cosmic manifestation, which is considered to be darkness. He is not visible to material eyes. Nonetheless, he is not separated from us by time or space, but is present everywhere. Seated on his carrier Garuda, he is worshipped by means of mystical yogic power by those who have achieved freedom from agitation. Let us all offer our respectful obeisances unto him. Wow, nice statement. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sattvam Visuddham Vasudeva Sabditam. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.3.23. In this material world, the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, prevail. Among these three, goodness is the platform of knowledge, and passion brings about a mixture of knowledge and ignorance. But the modes of ignorance is full of darkness. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is beyond the darkness and passion. He is on the platform where goodness or knowledge is not disturbed by passion and ignorance. This is called the Vasudeva platform. It is on this platform of Vasudeva that Vasudeva or Krishna can appear. Thus, Krishna appeared on this planet as the son of Vasudeva. Because the Lord is situated beyond the three modes of material nature, he is unseen by those who are dominated by these three modes. One must, therefore, become dhira, or undisturbed by the modes of material nature. The process of yoga may be practiced by one who is free from the agitation of these modes. Therefore, yoga is defined in this way: yoga indriya samyamya. Previously explained, we are disturbed by the indriyas, our senses. As previously explained, we are disturbed by the indriyas, our senses. Moreover, we are agitated by the three modes of material nature, which are imposed upon us by the external energy. In conditional life, the living entity moves turbulently in the whirlpool of birth and death. But when one is situated in the transcendental position, in the transcendental platform of Visuddha Sattva, pure goodness, he can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who sits on the back of Garuda. Lord Brahma offers his respectful obeisances unto that Supreme Lord. Text 30. No one can overcome the Supreme Personality of Godhead, illusory energy or Maya, which is so strong that it bewilders everyone, making one lose the sense to understand the aim of life. That same Maya, however, is subdued by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who rules everyone and who is equally disposed toward all living entities. Let us offer our obeisances unto him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada: the prowess, meaning the power, of the Supreme Personality Godhead Vishnu certainly controls all living entities. So much so that the living entities have forgotten the aim of life. Nate viduswartagatim hi Vishnu. The living entities have forgotten that the aim. Oh, I'm sorry. One second. I had a problem with my pen. Pencil. Okay. We'll fix this. Okay. Nate viduswartagatim hi Vishnu. The living entities have forgotten that the aim of life is to go back home, back to Godhead. The external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives all conditioned souls what appears to be an opportunity to be happy within this material world. But that is Maya. In other words, it is a dream that is never to be fulfilled. Wow, amazing statement of Prabhupada. Thus, every living being is illusioned by the external energy of the Supreme Lord. That illusory energy is undoubtedly very strong, but she is fully under the control of the transcendental person, who is described in this verse as Paresham, the transcendental Lord. The Lord is not a part of the material creation, but is beyond creation. Therefore, not only does he control the conditioned souls through his external energy, but he also controls the external energy itself. Bhagavad Gita clearly says that the strong material energy controls everything. and that getting out of her control is extremely difficult. That controlling energy belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and works under his control. The living entities, however, being subdued by the material energy, have forgotten the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yep. That's our problem. We've all forgotten Krishna. Text 31. Since our bodies are made of sattva guna, we, the demigods, are internally and externally situated in goodness. All the great saints are also situated in that way. Therefore, if even we cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what is to be said of those who are most insignificant in their bodily constitutions? Being situated in the modes of passion and ignorance, how can they understand the Lord? Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto him, meaning Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Atheists and demons cannot understand the Supreme Personality of God, although he is situated within everyone. For them, the Lord finally appears in the form of death. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Mrityu Sarva Paraschaham. Atheists think that they are independent, and therefore they do not care about the supremacy of the Lord. Yet the Lord asserts his supremacy when he overcomes them as death. At the time of death, their attempts to use their so-called scientific knowledge and philosophical speculation to deny the supremacy of the Lord cannot work. Hiranyakashipu, for example, was an exalted representative of the atheistic class of men. He always challenged the existence of God and thus became inimical, even for his own son. Everyone was afraid of Hiranyakashipu's atheistic principles. Nonetheless, when Lord Nrsingadeva appeared in order to kill him, Hiranyakashipu's atheistic principles could not save him. Lord Nrsingadeva killed Hiranyakashipu and took away all his power, influence, and pride. Atheistic men, however, never understood how everything they created is annihilated. The supersoul is situated within them, but because of the predominance of the modes of passion and ignorance, they cannot understand the supremacy of the Lord. Even the demigods, the devotees, who are transcendentally situated, are situated on the platform of goodness, are not fully aware of the qualities and position of the Lord. How then can the demons and atheists understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead? It is not possible. Therefore, to gain this understanding, the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, offered their respectful obeisances to the Lord. It's a very wise thing to do. On this earth, there are four kinds of living entities who are all created by him, in Krishna. The material creation rests on his lotus feet. He is the great supreme person, full of opulence and power. May he be pleased with us. That's like a prayer. May he be pleased with us. The word Mahi refers to the five material elements: earth and water, air, fire, and sky. Okay, earth, water, air, fire, and sky, which rest upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God. Mahat Padam Punya Yaso Murari, the Mahat Tattva, the total material energy, rests on his total lotus feet. For the cosmic manifestation is but another opulence of the Lord. In the cosmic manifestation, there are four kinds of living entities. Jarayu Ya, those born from embryos. Andaja, those born from eggs. Swetaja, those born from perspiration. Ubijja, those born from seeds. Everything is generated from the Lord, as confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra. Janvada Sayata. No one is independent, but the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Soul, is completely independent. Janvada Sayato, Livayad Itaratas Tatefa Avigaswara. The word Swa Raj, I'm sorry, the word Swarat means independent. We are dependent, whereas the Supreme Lord is completely independent. We are, okay, therefore, the Supreme Lord is the greatest of all. Even Lord Brahma, who created the cosmic manifestation, is but another opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The material creation is activated by the Lord, and therefore the Lord is not a part of the material creation. The Lord exists in his original spiritual position. The universal form of the Lord, Vairaja Murti, is another feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text number 33. The entire cosmic manifestation has merged from water, and it is because of water that all living entities endure, live, and develop. This water is nothing but the semen of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, may the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has not such great potency, be pleased with us. No, I'm sorry. Who has such great potency, be pleased with us. Purport. Despite the theories of so-called scientists, the vast quantities of water on this planet and on other planets are not created by a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. Whoa, that's a big statement by Prabhupada. Let me read that again. The entire cosmic, despite the theories of so-called scientists, the vast quantities of water on this planet and on other planets are not created by a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. Rather, the water is sometimes explained to be the perspiration and sometimes the semen of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That makes sense. It is from water that all living entities emerge, and because of water, they live and grow. If there were no water, all life would cease. Water is the source of life for everyone. Therefore, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we have so much water all over the world. Oh, yeah, but sometimes there are places where there's virtually no water. It's happening more and more nowadays. Text 34. Soma, the moon, is the source of food grains, strength, and longevity for all demigods. He is also the master of all vegetation and the source of generation for all living entities. As stated by learned scholars, the moon is the mind of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of all opulences, be pleased with us. That is like a prayer. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of all opulences, be pleased with us. Soma, the predominating deity of the moon, is the source of food grains, and therefore the source of strength, even for the celestial beings. The demigods, he is the vital force for all vegetation. Unfortunately, modern so-called scientists who do not fully understand the moon who do not fully understand the moon, describe the moon as being full of deserts. Since the moon is the source of our vegetation, how can the moon be a desert? Very good question by Prabhupada. Prabhupada always follows Shastra, he doesn't follow the mundane scientist. The moonshine is the vital force for all vegetation, and therefore we cannot possibly accept that the moon is a desert. Haribol Prabhupada. Text 35. Fire, which is born for the sake of accepting oblations in ritualistic ceremonies, is the mouth of the Supreme Lord, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Fire exists within the depths of the ocean to produce wealth. Wow. And fire is also present in the abdomen to digest food and produce various secretions for the maintenance of the body. May that supremely powerful personality of Godhead be pleased with us. Okay, so here's something new that we have learned today. It is that fire, which is born for the sake of accepting oblations in ritualistic ceremonies, is the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Fire exists within the depths of the ocean to produce wealth. Wow. Fire exists within the depths of the ocean to produce wealth. And fire is also present in the abdomen to digest food and produce various secretions for the maintenance of the body. May that supremely powerful personality of Godhead be pleased with us. Okay. So even in the depths of the ocean, there is fire, and it produces wealth. You know, it makes different types of precious jewels and other things like that, and that can be found in the ocean. And that's why it says within the depths of the ocean, the fire is also present in the within the depths of the ocean to produce wealth. And fire is also present in the abdomen to digest food and produce various secretions for the maintenance of the body. May that supremely powerful personality of Godhead be pleased with us. Yeah, so people find so many precious things, jewels and pearls and things like that in the ocean. Where do they come from? Well, now we know that fire exists within the depths of the ocean to produce wealth, and fire is also present in the abdomen to digest food and produce various secretions for the maintenance of the body. Yeah. Okay, text 36. The sun god marks the path of liberation, which is called Achirad Divartma. He is the chief source of understanding of the Vedas, for understanding of the Vedas. He is the abode where the absolute truth can be worshipped. He is the gateway to liberation, and he is the source of eternal life, as well as the cause of death. The Son God is the eye of the Lord. May that Supreme Lord, who is supremely opulent, be pleased with us. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Sun God is considered to be the chief of the demigods. He is also considered to be the demigod who watches the northern side of the universe. He gives help for understanding the Vedas, as confirmed in Brahma Samhita 5.52. Yachchaksur esa savita sakala grahanam raja samasta sula murti asesa teja yasya gyaya brahmatisamrita kala chakro govindamadi purisham tamaham gacchami. The sun, full of the sun, full of infinite effulgence, is the king of all the planets and the image of the good soul. The sun is like the eye of the Supreme Lord. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda in pursuance of whose order the sun performs his journey, mounting the wheel of time. The sun is actually the eye of the Lord. In the Vedic mantras, it is said that unless the Supreme Personality of Godhead sees, no one can see. Unless there is sunlight, no living entity on any planet can see. Therefore, sun is considered to be the eye of the Supreme Lord. That is confirmed here by the words Yet Chaksur Asit, and in the Brahma Samhita by the words Yet Chaksur Esa Savita. The word Savita means the sun god. Text number 37. All living entities, moving and non-moving, receive their vital force, their bodily strength, and their very lives from the air. All of us know the air for our vital force, exactly as servants follow an emperor. The vital force of air is generated from the original vital force of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. May that Supreme Lord be pleased with us. Text number 38. May the supremely powerful Personality of Godhead be pleased with us. The different directions are generated from his ears. The holes of the body come from his heart. And the vital force, the senses, the mind, the air within the body, and the ether, which is the shelter of the body, come from his navel. Text 39. Mahendra, the king of heaven, was generated from the prowess of the Lord. The demigods were generated from the mercy of the Lord. Lord Shiva was generated from the anger of the Lord. And Lord Brahma is from his sober intelligence. The Vedic mantras were generated from the bodily horns of the Lord. And great saints and Prajapatis were generated from his genitals. May that supremely powerful Lord be pleased with us. Well, that's an explanation of the genesis of all living entities, or different living entities. Text 40. The goddess of fortune was generated from his chest. The inhabitants of Pitriloka from his shadow. Religion from his bosom. The irreligion and irreligion, the opposite of religion, from his back. The heavenly planets were generated from the top of his head, and the apsaras from his sense enjoyment, or from his sense enjoyment. May that supremely powerful personality of Godhead be pleased with us. Text number 41. The Brahmanas and Vedic knowledge come from the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Kshatriyas and bodily strength come from his arms. The Vaishyas and their expert knowledge in productivity and wealth come from his thighs. And the Sudras, who are outside of Vedic knowledge, come from his feet. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full in prowess, be pleased with us. Text 42. Greed is generated from his lower lip, affection from his upper lip, bodily luster from his nose, animalistic lusty desires from his sense of touch, Yamaraja from his eyebrows, and eternal time from his eyelashes. May that Supreme Lord be pleased with us. Oh, that's nice, very nice statements. Text 43. All learned men say that the five elements, eternal time, fruitive activity, the three modes of material nature, and the varieties produced by these modes are all creations of Yogamaya. This material world is therefore extremely difficult to understand. But those who are highly learned have rejected it. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the controller of everything, be pleased with us. So the material world is therefore extremely difficult to understand. But those who are highly learned have rejected it. Yeah, that's a fact. The genuine devotees are not duped by the material nature. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the controller of everything, be pleased with us. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word Durvibhavyam is very important in this verse. No one can understand how everything is happening in this material world by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through his material energies. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.10, Maya Dakshina Prakriti, Suryate Sa Characharam. Everything is actually happening under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This much we can learn. Scientists haven't learned that yet. But how is it happening is extremely difficult to understand. We cannot even understand how the affairs within our body are systematically taking place. That's true. Absolutely true. The body is a small universe. And since we cannot understand how things are happening in the small universe, how can we understand the affairs of the bigger universe? Actually, this universe is very difficult to understand, yet learned sages have advised us, have advised, as Krishna has also advised, that this material world is dukhalayam asasvatam. In other words, it is a place of misery and temporality. Our one must give up this world and go back home, back to the personality of Godhead. Materialists may argue if this material world and its affairs are impossible to understand, how can we reject it? The answer is provided by the word Prabhuda Prabhadam. Prabhuda Prabhadam. We have to reject this material world because it is rejected by those who are learned in Vedic wisdom. Even though we cannot understand what this material world is, we should be ready to reject it in accordance with the advice of learned persons, especially the advice of Krishna. Krishna says, Mam upetya punarjanma dukalayam asasvatam na punuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Bhagavad Gita 8:15. One has to return home back to Godhead. Means to reject this material world. Although we cannot understand the functions of the material world and whether it is good for us or bad for us, in accordance with the advice of the Supreme Authority, we must reject it and go back home, back to Godhead. Wow, very strong statement by Prabhupada. We must reject it and go back home, back to Godhead. Yeah, we shouldn't be attached to anything in the material world because it's all temporary. Yeah.
One question, Maharaj. The word reject is keep coming, but so far we are learning that we are using in service and all these material things, but we are not rejecting technically, we are using. So how to understand both the things, like dovetail and the reject?
Good question, very good question. Well, since we're in the material world, we have to learn how to deal with the material energy. So, we engage the material energy in the service of Krishna. So, we reject using it for sense gratification, but we do not reject using it in the service of Krishna.
Thank you.
Okay? So, we reject the part where there's sense gratification, but we don't reject when the material nature is used in the service of Krishna. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is completely silent, free from endeavor, and completely satisfied by his own achievements. He is not attached to the activities of the material world through his senses. Indeed, in performing his pastime in this material world, he is just like the unattached air. True. Wow. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. We can simply understand that behind the activities of material nature is the Supreme Lord, by whose indications everything takes place. Although we cannot see him, even without seeing him, we should offer him our respectful obeisances. We should know that he is complete. Everything is done systematically by his energy. Prashashaktir Vividaiva Suyate. And therefore, has nothing to do, Natashakaryam Karanam Chavidyate. As indicated here by the word upasanta shaktaye. His different energies act, but although he sets these energies in action, he himself has nothing to do. He is not attached to anything, for he is the Supreme Personality of God. Therefore, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto him. So, the Lord can come into the material world without being affected by it. He can perform so many wonderful things. And then go back to Vaikuntha without being in any way, let's say, affected by his activities in the material world. Therefore, we have to recognize that the Lord has inconceivable, powerful energies that we don't have. Therefore, it's like fire. Now, we can use fire in a good way, but also fire can be used in a bad way. So the same fire that we use to cook our food can burn down our house. So we have to be very careful what we're doing with fire. So in the same way here it says, the different energies act, but although he, Krishna, sets these energies in action, he himself has nothing to do. He is not attached to anything, for he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto him. Well, yeah, that's the whole point. If we offer our obeisances to Krishna, we will avoid misusing things in the material world. But if we don't, then we can become victimized by the different things in the material world. Just like when someone smokes tobacco and inhales the smoke, that is one of the dumbest things you can do. Because our lungs are not meant to inhale smoke. Our lungs are there to get in oxygen, to keep us living, you see. So anybody who smokes and inhales smoke is crazy. They're completely going on the idea that, oh, smoking is good, it makes me feel good, but it's not good. It's dangerous. You can die easily, and it's going to destroy your lungs. If you have a picture of the lungs of a smoker, you'll see that they're black. What do you expect? That's what smoke does, right? It's charcoal, basically. And but yet people will inhale smoke into their lungs. See? That means they're some of the dumbest people in the world. But they have, pipes, and they have all kinds of cigarettes, and they have all different ways of inhaling smoke. That's like the dumbest thing you can do in your life. So, all right, so let's see. Okay, I think we're way over time. Yeah. So, are there any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? So this is the takeaway for today. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is completely silent, free from endeavor, and completely satisfied by his own achievements. He is not attached to the activities of the material world through his senses. Indeed, in performing his pastimes in this material world, he is just like the unattached air. Wow, what a statement that is. He is just like, in performing his pastime in this material world, he is just like the unattached air. So that means that the Lord is present everywhere, but he is not in any way infatuated by the material nature. And he endeavors, he's free from his endeavors. He's completely satisfied by his own achievements. He's not attached to the activities of the material world through his senses. Indeed, in performing his pastimes in this material world, he is just like the unattached air. That's tremendous statements. That's why it says, let us offer a respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is completely silent, free from endeavor, and completely satisfied by his own achievements. He is not attached to the activities of the material world through his senses. Indeed, in performing his pastimes in this material world, he is just like the unattached air. Haribol. So Krishna is not attached to anything in the material world. Okay, so our takeaway today is the following. We can simply understand that behind the activities of the material nature is the Supreme Lord, by whose indications everything takes place, although we cannot see him. Even without seeing him, we should offer him our respectful obeisances. We should know that he is complete. Everything is done systematically by his energies. Prashashakti Harividaiva Suyate. And therefore, he has nothing to do. As indicated here by the word Upasanta Shaktaye, his different energies act, but although he sets these energies in action, he himself has nothing to do. He is not attached to anything, for he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto him. You see, now that is very, very profound statements about who the Supreme Lord is and what his unlimited potencies are. Unlimited, they're not limited, they're unlimited potencies. He's not attached to the activities of the material world through his senses. Indeed, in performing his pastimes in this material world, he is just like the unattached air. That's a great simile there. Okay, I think we're going to stop there. Are there any questions or comments? Questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Yes, I'm in Houston, Texas for Rompat Maharaj's retreat. But anyways, my question is, so you were talking about attachment to not have that in the material world, but we grow up in our family all our lives, and we're still doing Krishna consciousness. So how do we not forget that at the time of death? Can you please explain? Thank you.
Well, you can go on parikrama. In other words, the whole issue is, am I attached or am I not attached to mundane life? Well, we go through different periods of time, sometimes being attached, sometimes being not attached. How can we be not attached in all times? Well, that's a question we have to ask ourselves. If we continually engage in devotional service without any demands, we're not praying, we don't make those mundane prayers. Oh, Krishna, please, I want to do this. Please give me this. Please give me that. Then we're attached to the material nature, even though we're worshiping to God. Now, it's nice that people worship God, but it's not for the purpose of give me this and give me that. It should be, please engage me, my dear Lord, in any activities that you want. So everything depends on what our purpose is. Everything depends on our desires. So if we have only desires to serve Krishna, we are liberated. If we have mixed desires, sometimes we want to serve Krishna, sometimes we want to serve Maya, we're not liberated. And if we never think of serving Krishna, then we're in hell. So we should ask ourselves in the 24 hours in a day, how many hours are we thinking of Krishna? And even better than that, how many of those hours are we actually serving Krishna? So for some people, it's maybe, half an hour. For other people, it might be 24 hours. So we should at least 24 hours a day be engaged in the service of Krishna. That is, we don't have any moment that we're forgetting Krishna. Yeah. That means we are a liberated personality. If there are moments where we gladly will forget about Krishna and engage in, watching television, or going to see a football game or something like that, then we have mixed goals in life. But if we avoid all that nonsense, and it's hard to avoid it because everywhere that nonsense is present, right? The football games, the baseball games. I know a lot of devotees. Whenever there's the what do you call it, the big baseball games, and the big football games, and they actually want to see who's going to win.
Cricket, Maharaj.
Another
one is cricket.
Yeah, there it is, cricket. I keep forgetting about that. So when there's the cricket, not all the devotees, but there's some devotees, they stop everything and they're focused on cricket. That means they're still attached, and it's very dangerous. Very dangerous. Yeah. Even though they're devotees, they will sit down there and watch and be really excited to know who's going to win. Okay, so therefore, our real purpose in life is to be attached to Krishna, not cricket. Otherwise, you'll become a cricket, right? You make that noise that crickets make. Haribol. Okay, we'll stop right there. Thank you very much, my dear devotees. Any other questions or comments? Okay, no cricket today. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Ram Ram.